Alrighty, boys and girls, we are heading to the range, closing in. So yeah, trying to finish up, what I started back Easter weekend on. I've got several rifles I'm trying to shoot, different loads I'm testing, trying to get some stuff done. So about to be at Hobbs Island shooting range. This is my primary range of choice. It's about 8 or 9 minutes from my house, super close. But just left New Hope Nutrition, and if y'all know about these things, whatever they are, some kind of loaded tea thing, I don't know. My wife gets them, my daughters love them, so I tried one, and this is the only one I'll drink. It's called, or at least here locally at New Hope Nutrition, it's called Nemo, and you add peach and mango to it, and the thing is dynamite. I might talk to them about changing the name to the Alabama Reloader. I mean, that's like, that thing is awesome. So if you guys are out that way, New Hope, Alabama, stop in New Hope Nutrition, get you one of them bad boys. But all right, so yeah, you got a key fob in. That's one of the things I like about this place. Members only, key fob in, and then you come down. Let's see, you got your pistol bays. It looks like we got some people down on the rifle side. I was hoping to get some range footage today. I'll probably still video. I just might not do any talking because I think the shooting actually jacks up the audio on the iPhone, or at least it has in the past. So you got your pistol bays, and then kind of like if you want to come shoot some ARs or whatever, 22s, a little bit further distance to the berm. That's the shack where you can kind of make your targets and all that fun stuff. So I got to get all that set up, but typically this is where I hang out, at the 100-yard line. There's guys down there shooting out to probably 380 or so. Trying to back up and hold my phone and not hit anything. Perfect. All right, so that's it. A lot of empty brass over here. I don't have a ton of stuff to shoot. It's just, this is the way I always transport my stuff. Once I load it up, I leave it in the bleacher, the lineman bleacher blocks. That way, just the orientation, I know what's what, and all that. So all right, I gotta get some targets made, so y'all stick around. Alrighty, so about to shoot. I got one more shot in this 3-shot group on this 30-06. It's a Ruger American that I'm working up a load for a buddy at church using the Nosler 150 grain ballistic tip and ram shot big game. I'm thinking about trying the Spear 165 grain Grand Slam and ram shot Hunter next. That'll be the next combination I try. But so yeah, I hate shooting 30-06. Kicks like a mule, especially in these lightweight synthetic stocks. Yeah. Also, one thing I do want to note, I don't know if I can get this on camera or not, but like, look at the muzzle here. I'm basically I'm leaning towards very positive that somebody chopped this thing. I don't know. I mean, he picked it up secondhand at a pawn shop, and so yeah. I haven't measured the barrel yet. I need to put a cleaning rod down it and measure it to figure out what it measures, but it just, the way that looks, it's all uneven on the outer surface here, as far as, it's like somebody ground it down. So I don't know if somebody chopped it, you know, shortened the barrel, then tried to, you know, put a little touch on it. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it came from the factory that way. So but next up, I'm going to be shooting the Savage 110 Tactical 6mm arc. So and on these are the, it's like every time I want to come over here and talk to y'all, the guy starts firing off his handgun down there. These are the Hornady 58 grain Vmax. So really lightweight bullet in the 6 arc. That's the lightest I believe that Hornady has to offer, and that there's load data for. So and I'm just shooting 5-shot groups, just checking out some accuracy, not really concerned about velocity. Yeah, so that's all I'm doing here. It's with H322, that's the powder, H322. So right, next up, we're gonna be shooting the Henry Long Ranger in 6.5 Creedmoor. So remember, this has the Vortex crossfire. This is the, I believe it's 3 to 12. Yep, this is the 3 to 12. This is the Hog Hunter scope. So mounted with high rings. Yeah, let's check it out. And I loaded up some 140 Spear Gold Dots to try out in it, so that's what we're shooting first.
We go cold?
Cold? Yeah. Trying to pull you guys out of here. That guy wants to go cold, so we're actually going to go cold. We're going to go take a look at the target and show you what I've shot so far, because I actually haven't shot much. I'll just kind of talk you through. It's about 80 degrees today, and I'm repping my Panola brand hoodie. Some great merchandise over at Panola brand. If you guys haven't picked anything up from them yet, you really need to. Great YouTube content too, by the way. Panola Productions, that's the YouTube content side of it, and then Panola brand is their merchandise. So that's another thing I like about this range. You can drive down and, you know, pick up your targets, put out targets, whatever. I mean, at 100 yards, I just walk. It ain't a big deal. Need the exercise anyway. But if you're shooting out to the 380 mark, you know, don't be that guy that just walks down there. You know, just jump in your car and drive. You know, no big deal. Just do that. All right, so here's what we're looking at. This target is it's a mess, but because I don't have everything labeled. But this is the 30-06 stuff that I've shot so far. I shot these 3 last time, and that was the last 3-shot group that I just shot. So not looking super promising. I was kind of getting a little bit excited because, you know, on these 2 groups, we stacked 2, and then we threw that one low and threw that one off to the left. So I was like, well, maybe because we're increasing in our charge weight, maybe just we're going to start tightening up a little bit, and then we'll go right back to that. So that's why I'm thinking about switching to the Spear 165 grain, the Grand Slam bullet with Ramshot Hunter powder. Just giving it a shot. Spear has load data for it, and I believe it is their highest velocity load data with the 165 is that Ramshot Hunter. I picked up a couple of pounds of it not too long ago, probably a few weeks back, over at Mr. Big Guns. He had some powder sitting on the shelf, and so picked up 2 pounds of that to try. This target is actually, it's upside down from the orientation that I shot it last time, so I actually didn't put this one back on the backer correctly. It really needs to be flipped. But this was the 280 stuff, 280 Remington stuff. That's where all these shots are coming from. But yeah, so I just put, you know, those 5 there, right here. That's for the 58 grain, the 58 grain Vmax in 6 arc. Now that was my point of aim. So point of aim, point of impact. So need to come down on the scope quite a bit. This is the stuff I shot on the last range session. These are the Barnes 6 arc loads that I shot, the 80 grain loads. Those did really well. This is a 75 grain Vmax load with H322. All this is with H322. This stuff is Creedmoor stuff, don't worry about that. But so that's kind of what our target's looking like right now. So let's get back down here and go hot. And I will, no, I'm just gonna let it run. Let you guys A lot of folks always comment no range footage or anything. You know, a lot of people want to see range footage, so you're going to get unedited range footage since you want it so badly. Careful what you wish for, you just might get it. So unedited, you get to see me walk back and forth and all that. But I think he's done, so it looks like it's just me on the out on the range now. So we're gonna just send it, and you guys see how fast I shoot. I don't depend on the barrel profile. Like on this Ruger American, I mean, I'm only shooting 3-shot groups, but I will give it a little more time in between shots. But like that Savage 110 Tactical, it's a heavier barrel profile and it's fluted. So, you know, let me see if I can get y'all in, because if I'm not careful, I'll hit the volume button and that jacks up. That'll actually stop the recording. Booyah, I got it in there. Look at me go. All right, so guys, I'm about to shoot the Henry Long Ranger 6.5 Creedmoor. I'm getting slightly parched. Maintain hydration. And the barrel profile on this Long Ranger is pretty thin. So this is another one where, I mean, you can already start just after those 2 shots. You can definitely feel some heat, you know, in the barrel. But I'm only shooting 3-shot groups, so. All right, now we're transitioning to the 280 Remington. This is a handy rifle. You know, you guys have seen videos of handy rifles on my channel before. Yeah, they can be extremely tough to load. As far as accurate ammunition, they can be pretty tough to load for and find a really good load, just because of the harmonics and how this thing is assembled, and it's not a free floated barrel and all of that jazz. So it can be a little more difficult to find a forgiving load for these guys. So, but you know, that's why you test, that's why you reload. It's fun stuff.
All right, now we're switching back to the 6-arc. Pretty boring stuff. So this is why I never really understand why people want to see range footage. It's just somebody sitting down shooting at a bench, but whatever. To each his own. So I just tried to look around for my phone. Forgot. That's what I film with. So. That wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. Where are we at? Oh yeah, this video is gonna be long. All right, I'm gonna do one more 3-shot group with this 30-06, and then we'll go down and look at the groups that I've shot while I've been filming. this again and not mess it up. All right, so oh man, that 30-06 it sucks shooting that thing straight up. I wouldn't mind it so much like when I worked on the projects for Richard, that Winchester Model 670, it wasn't as bad just because it had a wood stock on it, so it had a little more weight to it. When it's just that cheap synthetic, you know, stock, and it's a really lightweight setup, it's just not fun to shoot. I don't care who you are. You can act all big and bad all you want to, Alt 6, World War champ, whatever. I couldn't care less. Thing sucks when you shoot it. So, of course, right as I say, hey, thinking about switching to the Spear 165 grain and a different powder because my groups weren't looking super awesome. We shoot the best group we've shot so far. Oh, isn't that funny how that works? So yeah, so I've got one more 3-shot group to shoot. If it opens back up or whatever, if it's like this, then we may stick with this combination and maybe even go a little bit higher. I don't know. I'll think about it, but I gotta see what this last group is gonna look like, and then that'll kind of dictate what I do. If I switch to the 165 and Ramshot Hunter. That was that 280 load, so not great. Needs more work. That's the Spear 145 grain boat tail Spitzer with the powder is IMR 4955, so which is a really good velocity powder for 280 Remington. Made a scope adjustment, so remember point of aim, point of impact on that 58 grain, so I made a scope adjustment down. Now we're hitting low, which is fine, I don't care. But there's those 5 shots for the 58 grain in the 6 arc. First 5 are up here. Second 5-shot group, so not too bad, but you know, you throw that one out there, that doesn't really help. Here are the 3 shots for the Creedmoor. Not bad. Definitely needs to be tighter. So yeah. Yep. We'll keep working. All right. Well, that's it. I will, you know, once I leave here, get back to the house, I can sit down, we can look at the targets, throw some calipers on them, get some group sizes and all that. I'll do that. So that'll be coming up next. Yeah. So range footage. There you go. Everybody that wants to see range footage. That's it. Probably the most boring video you'll ever watch if you made it this far. But that's it from the range, and next time, or when, you know, there'll be a little transition here and we'll be back at the house and going over group sizes and kind of a path forward and what I'm gonna test next in the 6 arc or whatever. Because really it was just kind of that powder. I just wanted to check that powder, and you know, the Barnes 80 grain tip TSX, I wanted to check it. I wanted to check the Hornady 75 grain Vmax and the 58 grain Vmax. So that was all with H322. But all right, well, so from Hobbs Island shooting range, we'll catch y'all here in, for you it'll be like right now, as soon as this transition happens. For me, I gotta get all this stuff done, get loaded up, get back to the house. There's a bunch of errands I gotta run, so it'll be a little bit before I can actually film the final part of this. So y'all stay tuned. All right, so it's several hours later. I'm finally able to put together kind of the results portion of this video. You guys saw some of the range results as I went down a couple of times, showed you the target. But now this is everything after I got back to the house, was able to measure stuff that I cared about measuring, and now we're just going to kind of walk through it. So today's range session, if you made it this far in the video, then you know that we shot 4 different rifles, Shot the 280 Remington, which is a New England Firearms handy rifle. And then we shot a Ruger American chambered in 30-06, a Henry Long Ranger chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, and a Savage 110 Tactical chambered in 6 ARC. So that's what we shot today. We will get some of this stuff out of the way that we semi care about, but not as much as other stuff. So 6 ARC is really what I care about on this video. 6 ARC and 30-06. Those were the two main things that I really wanted to try to nail down as far as, you know, testing the loads. The Creedmoor stuff and the 280, I'm still, the 280, I've just got to devote more time to it. I might buy some new brass for that. I'm using a bunch of Remington core lock brass, so it's a bunch of Remington brass, and don't know how much faith and confidence I have in that brass. And so I think I saw over on Duck Creek Sporting Goods, I believe he's got some Norma 280 Remington brass, possibly. I need to go double check that. But I'm thinking about buying some nice brass for the 280 Remington and starting over, just starting fresh and going that route. But for the 30-06, in the 6.5 Creedmoor, you know, I may switch up bullet powder combination. I may go with something different. We just didn't really have good results like I was hoping for in the Long Ranger. So our best 3-shot group was this guy right down here. So yeah, so we're out of the stuff I loaded up for that, just not exactly thrilled with how it shot. So the 30-06 project, this is the Ruger American stuff for my buddy Kyle, I go to church with, and told him I'd work up a good load for him. We're using the 150 grain Nosler ballistic tip with ram shot big game powder, and we started at 56 grains, worked our way up to 57.5, which is down here. We're jumping 0.3 of a grain increments, 56, and then 56.3, 56.6, 0.9, 57.2, and 57.5. Now the interesting thing about these 6 shots is, so I shot 57.2, this was my point of aim, and it hit directly below. It's actually these 3 right there, because I went back and looked at the video. I had walked down and looked and checked this group after I shot it. So before I shot this last group, so I know what that group is. So it's that 1, 2, 3. So that came out to right at an inch, 1.007 inches. And then my point of aim for the 57.5 load was here, but it put all 3 of them, which along the way I had been, you know, hitting to the left. So the fact that this one dropped straight down on the 57.2, I was a little surprised by that. And so I kind of anticipated it hitting left, but it didn't on that one. And then on 57.5, it did. And it was actually these 3. So that one, and that one. That's those 3. And that came in just under an inch, 0.969 inches. So just like I said in the video, you know, I was thinking about swapping bullet powder combination. But as we went along, I was hoping that as we increased our charge weight that we would start to tighten things up. Hopefully that was kind of the thought process there. And that's exactly what happened on the last 2 groups here. Now the weird point of impact shift, that is kind of strange. How we were hitting to the left on some of these, and then on some we're just dropping dead center. So I don't know, that was kind of weird. I need to go back and double check that. But we'll probably load up a few 57.5 and then maybe even go higher and see what that looks like, just to test. So that was our 30-06 stuff. Next up would be the 6 ARC. This is what we really care about. 6 ARC videos getting a lot of views. Apparently you guys are into the 6 ARC. So these first 3 groups, these are the Barnes 80 grain tip TSX. I shot this on a different range day. That was the best group, 0.628. And then let's see, got the numbers right here. Then the next one was, they were actually identical in terms of group size. They don't necessarily look identical, but they did measure out exactly the same, 1.008 inches on the next 2. So, and this is all shot with, the 6 ARC loads were all done with H322. That was our powder. And here's the load data. So it was the 80 grain Barnes at a 2.100 inch cartridge overall length. There's the group size that we got. We only tested 3. I had 15 rounds or 15 bullets on the Barnes, so that's all we did, 3 5-shot groups. And then we did 1 5-shot group with the 75 grain Vmax, just because I didn't know. I thought I had 20 of the Barnes, but it turns out I only had 15. So I needed a 5-shot group to kind of fill the void, if you will, fill the gap. And that was this guy right here. So not terrible, but it did end up at a 1.258 on the group size. Now the 58 grain Hornady Vmax. So I tested those two. This is a really light bullet in the 6 arc, not necessarily what the arc was designed around. Again, keep in mind those heavy, longer bullets in the 6mm diameter, but Hornady has load data for the 58 grain Vmax. I've got that bullet on hand, so I loaded it to 2.085 inches, and then again with H322 powder, started at 29.4, worked our way up to 30. I think the max is like 30.4, I believe, so I came in just under the max. And not too bad, actually, on the group size. So this was our first 5-shot group. So that was that 29.4 grain charge. That was 1.409 inches. And then I made a scope adjustment because it was, you saw on the video, the point of aim, point of impact was pretty crazy. And so here was the second group. That was 29.6. This one actually measures exactly the same as 29.8. They're both 1.116 inches, so same exact group size. I did make a scope adjustment up after I made it all the way down. I kind of went down too far, and I was like, let me just adjust up a little bit. So I came back up a 1/2 mil, and that put us basically dead on. That was the 29.8 load, and then the 30 grain load I was getting pretty pumped about, and then the 5th shot, you know, that's me. Yeah, that's probably me just not being that great of a shooter. But, you know, I mean, would it have been just slightly closer? Who knows? You know, that's a sub 1 inch group. It ended up being 0.956. So 1 inch group there with the 30 grain charge. I probably will come back. I'm not going to spend a ton of time with the 58 grain bullets. That's not why you buy a 6 arc. As a varmint gun, but that is it's nice to know that you can definitely dial in a really sweet load, take this thing out coyote hunting if I want to. So I'll probably come back and go 30 and up to the max, 30 and then 30.2, 30.4. I'll probably do that just to see what it looks like. I didn't get any velocity data, didn't really care to, but that's our arc results for the day. And then some of this stuff down here is Creedmoor stuff. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, there we go. Let's wrap this video up. This sucker is really long, but people have been commenting saying, you know, they want to see range footage and all this stuff. So yeah, there you go. You got your range footage for the day. Don't necessarily know the route I'm going to take next on the arc. I know, like I just said, probably load up some of those 58 grainers again. But we've got, you know, a bunch of stuff that we can test. So yeah, and I've got more powders I want to check out. So yeah, got a lot of stuff I want to do with the arc. It's just going to take time to get through it all. What else? So my buddy Brandon, he hooked me up with some brass, some Grendel brass that he has formed to 6 arc. So I've got some of that brass available when I need it. When I burn this stuff out, I can switch over to that. So yeah, it's fun times. So that's really where we're gonna leave it. We're gonna cut it right here. It's been a long enough video trying to get this thing pieced together and uploaded. Yeah, so again, remember, don't forget the places I like to shop. Go check out Midway Pistol and Ammo in Gurley, Alabama. Mark and Robert over there, great guys to work with, great guys to go in and chat with. They've got a ton of good stuff in the store now. They've really opened it up, remodeled that place, revamped it to where they're focusing just on firearms and firearm accessories. So kind of like propane and propane accessories. So that's great. Go check it out. And then of course, Mr. Big Guns. That's been my number one, you know, go-to for a long time. I really enjoy going down there, hanging out with Matt and those guys. They do a great job. They've got the best selection, in my opinion, in terms of if you're trying to build a rifle, or if you're wanting to get into reloading or anything like that. If you're wanting to get into the precision game too, like that's the place to go. Yeah, so that's it. We'll catch y'all next time. Y'all have a good one.